What's the real contributing factor to you falling short of your goals? I wanted to share with you a little bit of a story around our recent bathroom renovation, some mishaps that happened along the way, and what this can teach you around your pursuit to achieving your goals both personally and in your business. So a little bit of background. We moved up to Far North Queensland about 3 years ago now because we had a dream that we wanted to create an animal sanctuary. We wanted a whole heap of land so we could rescue a whole heap of animals, and we ideally had a very specific criteria of the type of property that we wanted to buy. We never even thought that we'd end up in Far North Queensland, but up here on our travels, as we were spending a year traveling around Australia, we found our dream home, which ticked all of the boxes. There were a couple of things that needed some work. For example, the house was built in the early 90s, and the kitchen and the bathroom definitely showed it. So they definitely needed an update. And we'd finally got around to getting that renovation done, and the process was supposed to take about 3 weeks. Now, during that time, given that we were up in Far North Queensland and it's called the wet tropics for a reason, we had some really torrential rain. And what was supposed to be 3 weeks turned into about 2 months because of flooding and other weather-related issues. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we had was basically readjusting and resetting expectations around the timeline, right? Like many of us in business, we have ambitious goals and objectives. We ultimately want to be able to achieve what we want and when we want it in the shortest possible time frame. And the biggest challenge with that is that most of us set unrealistic and unfair expectations around that timeline, and then we beat ourselves up because we fall short of our goal. I've been guilty of this so many times that I set really ambitious financial targets in my business, really ambitious growth targets, and really ambitious timelines. And surprise, surprise, I fall short of those objectives. And I see business owners do this time and time again. Now, much like my bathroom renovation, it got done and it looks absolutely gorgeous. We're super happy with the results. But when you really think about it, like, what's the big deal between 3 weeks and 8 weeks? Sure, it's more than double the time. Could we have done it faster if we would have just changed the time period? We shouldn't have done it in the wet season. That was probably a smarter solution. Note to self, in any future renovations, do it during the dry season. But it's not the end of the world, right? We had a porta toilet for twice as long as we would have liked. We had to shower outside for twice as longer as we would have liked. Was it uncomfortable? It wasn't big. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'm not very precious. But I think many people are precious when it comes to their goals. Now, does this mean you should not set objective timelines and ambitious goals, right? No, you should set those ambitious goals and timelines. However, a system that I have implemented in my business, which really changed my relationship with pursuing growth, was setting what we refer to as a good, better, best outcome, okay? So, our best should be our most ambitious target that we can think of. Let's say, for example, you're doing 100K a month right now, and within the next quarter, you want to get to 200K a month. So you want to increase your top line revenue by 100K a month. For most businesses standards, in a 3-month period of time, that's pretty ambitious growth. 100% growth in 3 months, okay? Well, you say, okay, well, let's then look at what's my bare ass minimum. What is still a good result where I'm growing and I'm improving and I'm making sure that I'm keeping positive forward momentum, but I'm still going to be proud of my result, even though it may not be 100% growth in 3 months. Well, let's say, for example, it might be 10% growth in 3 months. So we go from 100K on average per month to 110. And then what you can do is then set a middle period to say, okay, well, what's somewhere in the middle? Let's say it's $150,000 a month. Still tremendous growth, still 50% growth, but this allows me to have some kind of shades of grey in terms of my goals and objectives. The big part here, right, is you really need to be mindful of your ego when it comes to anything that you're pursuing. Because our ego wants to achieve ambitious results. It wants to do outlandish things. And I often find that the downside of falling short of that goal is that we can sometimes fall into beating ourselves up, this negative self-talk, and all of these other things that are associated with feeling unworthy. And it's not really healthy. because we can't sustain that for long periods of time. I've seen individuals do this time and time and time again, and the reality is that they're falling short of their goals because of either that they've set unrealistic expectations of themselves, because they don't understand the contributing factors that are required to achieve that particular goal in that time frame, or there are factors that are completely outside of their control that wouldn't be conducive for them achieving that goal in that time frame anyway. Case in point, the weather. Can't control the weather. Could have controlled the timeline. The reality is, if I would have waited to the dry season with my bathroom renovation, it still wouldn't have got done by now anyway, right? I would have had to defer it like 6 months. And so the point here being, guys, I want you to take an opportunity to reflect on a situation where the only reason that you fell short of your goal is because of the unrealistic time frame that you set. And in that same situation, if you would have just reframed that time frame, set yourself some more realistic expectations around the time frame that would have taken, how would have that changed your emotions, your state as a result of reframing that time frame? For me, got a beautiful bathroom. It took a little bit longer than expected, but I got the result that I wanted in the end. And isn't that what really matters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.